Chief Jerry Schiager of Fort Collins Police Services. Please leave me a message and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Jerry, it's William Montgomery here. Boy, okay, so I'm having to give you a call now here because I am needing to officially complain about another officer in your force, and his name is Craig Horton. And we briefly went over this before. This is an official complaint I'm lodging against Craig for not doing anything at all and telling me I need to otherwise leave my trespassing case up for court entirely. And basically, he wouldn't even give me the definition of right-of-way. That was kind of a trick question. I popped him there. That's the trespassing complaint or charge itself has nothing to do with right-of-way, if you actually look at the paperwork. So basically, that was kind of a trick question. But nevertheless, here's what I'm trying to get at, is that there's a reasonable person theory out here that's not being followed and not being discovered and so forth. And the reason why I jumped the fence is so that I could take out as many cops as I needed to until I got to people that actually are reasonable. And so you're next in line here because basically Chernak convinced the warrantless arrest affidavit judge to sign off on it, that his boss signed off on the paperwork, Hopkins, Marcus, that eventually the DA's office took, that basically I never got a preliminary hearing on, so forth and so on. So the probable cause is still to be determined out there. And I really don't think we need to have a court over this. That's the whole point I did it, is because it's an open and shut case. In fact, here's the thing. It is so open and shut that my concept that I'm trying to hone in on now is when you guys think that you may not be, or that you can somehow stave off liability by what I call lawyering up. That's what Horton did by not giving me the answer, over right-of-way. When it's, in your internal affairs policy, the definition of right-of-way doesn't have anything to do with my opinion of guilt or innocence, of why, you can't or cannot take a complaint. So it's called lawyering up because it's basically hiving up. You guys are trying to avoid looking bad and or being held to some sort of fire that I've, now I can hold Horton to the fire because he said this. And it's like, well, I mean, all he's doing is pointing to your municipal code, 1742, or at least he should have. But nevertheless, the whole point of lawyering up is that I have like 6 different sides of you guys lawyering up and not lawyering up if you know that I'm in a lawsuit or not. And so I have the dispatch telling me that it's private property, be willing to tell me that, telling me to go to check with the city manager's office even. And then when I call back and let they know that I'm in a lawsuit over the area, they don't give me an answer at all. They say, save that for court. And so that's one example. The real example that I'm trying to hone in on here is Officer Kinsman. So I had a chance to actually talk with him before the word got out that I trespassed on that fence area. And so it's kind of hard to get, straight answers from you guys. But, I did enough homework and enough time. I figured out, who I needed to talk to, when and where, as best I could. And so this is actually a really old conversation. It started, I believe it's recorded on June 16th of last year at 10:05 a.m. And so I just have a couple snippets from it that I wanted to play from you for you. The whole audio is like 23 minutes long. But the whole point here, so what I'm trying to get at, is that I get straight answers from you guys when your homeless discrimination lynch image problem protocol isn't up, the walls. And so I get straight answers from Rob Mosby. He sends out a surveyor. No issue with the right-of-way. He knows what to apply to his map and so forth. I get straight answers from officers that don't know I'm in lawsuits. And this is I can prove this with a whole bunch of my other cases too. And so, but of course, when you guys do know I'm in a lawsuit, then you lawyer up and you think that you don't look bad, or that there's some saving of the case that, that it still needs to go to court or something like that. But, what I'm trying to say ultimately is if you guys want to push things off to court, that's kind of what I was expecting or intending or planning for. Worst case scenario with my jumping of the fence, I kind of knew that your protocol was to
You
throw
are approaching the
chairs.
maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
Basically, your protocol is to throw chairs, and we knew that ahead of time. We don't care if you throw all these chairs. But anyways, let me give you a call back because you really got to hear this audio. It's very, very important. Talk to you soon. One moment.
To send this message, press pound or hang up. To mark it urgent, 1. To play, your message has been sent. If you would like to try an extension, you may do so now.
This is Assistant Chief Jerry Schiager of Fort Collins Police Services. Please leave me a message and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Okay, Jerry, it's me again, William. So to kind of finish up what I was trying to say, going into these audios, basically, people that try and stick up for their fellow officers are going to do that to not look bad if they still think that there's possibly a chance that they might not lose in court. And when I get lawyered up answers, it's they're really fried usually, and it's like lawyering up over what's the definition of, is that a red truck? And it's like, I can't tell you. It's like I asked Horton, what's the definition of right of way? That's not a lawyer-upable answer. It's just 1742. It's really basic. It's kind of like me asking you guys, am I allowed to be in a park after 11 o'clock? You're going to tell me no, because that's your job. And you would arrest me, and you'd have to put your money where your mouth is anyways. And so, for instance, really quick, to sum this lawyer up concept up, technically one of the reasons why I'm also complaining about Horton is because I told him that I was willing to break a protection order of 460, either by hanging out in the bench area or actually going into 460 Safeway. And he told me he wouldn't enforce that. He told me that's a hypothetical, that we can't talk about that or anything like that. And to me, that's a direct violation of your job. Like, I'm going to eventually go down there and call you guys from Safeway. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to lawyer up and not do anything? Because that looks like you're not doing your job at that point. And so that's what I'm trying to say is, lawyering up, we caught you. We know what you guys do. We have all sides of the protocols figured out. And so this is what really concerns me, is that when I am not in a lawsuit, you guys are more than willing to give very, very logical, clean answers that make perfect sense. And then, when I get in a lawsuit, I get this whole ha blah blah blah. I got plenty of the ha blah 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 I could go over later. But truthfully speaking, it doesn't take much to get the original value down of what a reasonable person sounds like. And so this was Kinsman way back when, after the fence went down, before the other orange fence went back up, when they finally, which was illegal too, before the amendment went up and went through. So this was just kind of like just right after the whole thing came down, before you guys all finished up your minor amendment to push it through. So here's just a couple of seconds. It's real basic. There's full documentation I can get you later, but this is it. It's really basic.
People have been generally cooperative, but I mean, if someone just absolutely says, you know what, I don't want to leave, and they're not violating any laws like public intoxication, open container, there's no warrants, or they're clean as a whistle, there's nothing to say they can't stay there right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you on that. I was kind of confused. I didn't know if... And we were definitely talking about the east side of Safeway bench area. They were talking about, he was talking about moving people along, if they do other things like cigarette butts or large groups, and so forth. But we talked, and I eventually honed in on this actual conversation right here, eventually, a couple minutes later. Well, fantastic. So kind of the head scratch that I had was, I didn't know if that place closes down or if people can be banned from it or anything like that. So it doesn't sound like that's the issue.
People can be banned from anywhere. So if the court decides that somebody is going to be trespassed, or if it's private property, they can be trespassed from it. It's city property, and the city has deemed that somebody's not allowed. You know Zach Humboldt, right? Humbert?
Zach Humbert, yeah. I think I...
Like, for instance, people like him have been trespassed from being able to be on city parks property. So that can't happen, but that's by court order.
Okay, but this one, it seems like is it in the right of way, or do you know if it's private property, or that seawall?
My belief is that it belongs to the city of Fort Collins, and so that is public property.
Okay, yeah, I thought so too. I see no... Oh yeah, I gotta throw this in there too. This is really funny. Loitering sign, please take action, though, so I don't know about that sign, if that's illegally
Yeah,
up there.
I don't know who put that up, if that was like the business owners or how that happened, but yeah, I don't know how that got there.
Okay. Well, I don't want to...
You ever put it up? Who knows?
Yeah, well, thank you. I don't want to take up any more... But yeah, obviously that sign is, like, influencing everybody to believe that is more likely to be private than public. But there you have it. Kinsman very clear about it. It's public land. So, real quick, I don't have much time in my way here left. But you look at the actual case number complaint of the charging complaint for the DA's office for 16CR28. It is a 100% fraudulent document.
You are approaching the maximum length for a recording. Finish your recording after the tone.
It's a 100% fraudulent document. It's a bogey. It's dirty. Anybody that touches it that doesn't drop it is also going down with it. That was the whole point. So, I'll get you guys some more info here, but man, you're next, man. If you can't figure this out, I gotta, you're going down too.
Length for a recording. To send this message, press pound or hang up. To mark it urgent, 1. Your message has been sent. If you would like to try an extension, you may do so now. Goodbye.